I did nothing all weekend, no plans and no to-do list. And honestly, a few years ago, that would have made me really uncomfortable. Not just uncomfortable, guilty, like I should be doing something. It's not like there isn't anything to do. There's always something waiting on my list. But this weekend, I did something different. I put everything on hold. I didn't open up that to-do list. I didn't tell myself I'll just knock out a few things here today while I have some time. Normally, that's what I would do. I would convince myself that I would feel better once I'm ahead. But this time I didn't, and nothing bad happened. Nothing fell apart, but something did shift. What are you doing, George? She's my wild child. I've been thinking about this idea of doing nothing. There's a Dutch word for it, niksen, which basically means the art of purposefully doing nothing, to intentionally take a break without a goal. No productivity, no outcome, just being, just nothing. And I don't know if that's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm still doing things. I'm just letting the day unfold without planning it. Just letting it happen as it happens. I'm not trying to check off anything on my to-do list, which, by the way, is always growing. I can't ever seem to get it to zero. It feels absolutely impossible, but I'm not stressing about it anymore. So technically, I'm not doing nothing, but it feels like nothing in a way that matters. There's this strange, almost unfamiliar feeling that I don't have to turn today into progress. Not my inbox, not my content calendar, not even cleaning the house. I'm not trying to squeeze in even small little things or outline another video or clean out a drawer just to feel productive. I'm not scanning the day for what I could use it for. I'm just letting it be a Saturday and figuring it out as it comes. I can just sit here with my steaming cup of coffee and not make the day mean anything, not turn it into progress, not turn it into productivity, and just let it be unplanned and do what feels good in the moment. There was a time when a weekend of doing nothing would have made me really restless. I'd feel it in every fiber of my body first, like I couldn't fully relax. Even if the house was quiet, my mind was not. It would start scanning for what I should be doing instead, what I was falling behind on, what I could be using the time for. There was this quiet guilt underneath it. Not a loud guilt, but more like a persistent guilt. I really believed that if I wasn't doing something measurable, something productive, then I wasn't contributing in some way. Like my worth was somehow tied to my output, which I know sounds a little extreme when I say it out loud now, but it didn't feel extreme back then. It felt very normal. It felt responsible. Good morning. Have to take that first sip. Okay. I have a little confession on my coffee. It's not caffeinated. I'm having to drink decaf coffee. Oh, I love the taste of it. I mean, to me, it doesn't taste any different than the caffeinated, but you don't get that like little hit from the caffeine, which is kind of, gives you a little bit of energy boost through the day. Yeah, I had to do an elimination diet because I was super lightheaded and foggy brained since the kidney surgery, and I thought it was just the surgery and the medication and all of those things, but it still was going on even up to a couple of weeks ago. I thought it was my electrolytes because I was drinking so much more water, and that might have been a portion of it, but then anyways, elimination diet, discovered it's caffeine. I've never been sensitive to caffeine. So ever since I stopped drinking caffeine, except for the little bit that's in the chai tea, I just said chai tea. For the little bit that's in the chai latte, it doesn't affect me. Like I'm fine. I haven't had that same issue. So I don't know. So I'm on decaf for now. Hopefully it'll get better. All right. Today we're making bread. It's gonna be a low-key day. Even though I have my slow days and my slow living, there's a lot of work that goes into these videos and editing, and a lot of times I'm just sitting there editing or doing my stand-up desk and editing. Affects your brain, right? Your brain feels a little bit tired after all of this. So for the next couple of days, I'm just gonna rest. I feel like I just need to rest my brain and not do a whole lot, to be honest with you. And we've had so many new people to the channel, so I wanted to explain the bread situation. So I have this grain mill and I mill my own grains. So it's absolutely amazing. It keeps the bran and it keeps the germ in it, so it's nice and healthy for you. And for everyone who talks about how you should be low carb, maybe that's what's good for you. I did low carb, not good for me. I had to have carbs. But I will tell you, I was pre-diabetic. My A1C has gone down from 6.4 to 5.5 eating this bread. Now, part of it was also weight loss, but during that time, I was also eating the bread. So, and I was eating the bread like 4 times a day. So it's not the bread. It's actually really good for you. There's a lot of fiber and it really helps with gut health, which was a huge part of what I was actually trying to heal. What? You gonna come up here? What? What you doing, honey? What you doing? We're kneading the bread, huh? I know. You like that bread too, don't you? A couple of years ago, I started building my slow mornings, walking Georgie before the world really wakes up, making breakfast instead of grabbing something quick, letting my coffee stay warm in my hands, reading a few pages of whatever book I'm in, and doing some light stretching, getting ready slowly before I open my laptop. Sometimes it takes 2 hours, sometimes 2.5 hours. I just don't rush it. It feels warm and steady, like I'm respecting my own peace. I'm very protective of that time now, and I make sure I block my calendar off for it. It's the first part of my day, and I want to give myself the best because I know how different my whole day feels when I let it unfold that way. It's not productive, it's just grounded and it's steady. Whenever I catch myself in a pattern like that, that feeling of always needing to be doing something, I get a little curious about where it started, because when something feels that ingrained, it usually has a little bit of history. And I think I know exactly where this came from. I picked that up early in my career. There were always deadlines, expectations, performance reviews based on output, bonuses tied to hitting goals, and usually hitting those goals meant working even longer hours than the job already required. I'm not against stretch goals, and I'm grateful for the opportunities I had. It has allowed me to be where I am today in my life. Can you believe these are still from the farmer's market from like a week ago? They're so pretty, and these, oh, they just bloomed really well. We've got a few dead flowers in here. I'm gonna just kind of take a few of these out, clip them. Somewhere along the way, I absorbed this idea that more hours meant more value, that sacrificing personal time was just part of being committed to the company and to the job. And over time, not pushing harder started to feel a bit risky. Like, if I wasn't doing more, I was falling behind. And even now, there are moments when I catch myself still wondering if I'm doing enough, even in my own business. I know I could be pushing harder, posting more on social media, optimizing more, turning every idea into something bigger, but I've come to love my downtime even if it's my own business. The days where I close the laptop, where I read, where I let ideas sit instead of forcing them, I've noticed something interesting about that quiet time. When I step back, the work actually gets better. I think so much more clearer. I create from a much steadier place. And I don't feel like I'm chasing something. Rest has not hurt my business at all. In fact, it made it more sustainable. I think that's what the Dutch intention was meant with Nixon. Not doing nothing to improve yourself, but doing nothing so you can hear yourself again. So I have this little problem here in my entryway in my apartments that I think you can probably resonate with. So you know how outlets always seem to be where you don't need them? And I have that problem here in the apartments. There's not an outlet on this wall here in my entryway, and I really need there to be one there. I have solved that problem with my Bluetti Elite 400, which, by the way, Bluetti is sponsoring this video today. So what I did is I turned my Bluetti Elite 400 into my power hub that's right here, conveniently located by the front door. So I have all of my equipment over here, all of my things are charging so I can grab and go when I need. It's so super easy. So when I'm not using it for my emergency backup or my kitchen island, which I've shown you guys before, this is where it lives. It charges all my camera batteries, GoPro batteries, my microphones, my phone, my lights, my headphones. It just charges so many things all at the same time. The battery has 3,840 watt hours of capacity, which basically means that I can plug in everything here without having to worry that it's gonna blow the power. It's not gonna have enough power. I don't have to interchange everything. I mean, look how many things are plugged into that right now. It's that good. There's also 4 AC outlets, USB ports, fast charging USB-C, so nothing is competing with each other. There's no swapping cords, and I don't have to unplug my laptop to charge something else. Another very convenient thing is if I want to use this in the living room, I literally just take each of these items, put it here on top of the Bluetti, and roll it away into the living room or whatever room that I need it in. And I know many of you are not content creators, but you can use this exact same idea. Think family charging station. You can have your tablets, your phones, your headphones, rechargeable batteries. You could have your portable speakers here. There's so many different things that you could be charging as a portable hub for your family charging station. If you work from home and there's not an outlet near your desk or wherever you're deciding to work that day, maybe you like working from your couch and there's not an outlet near that. Or maybe you just want an area where all of your devices can charge overnight. And while this can also be an emergency backup system, it can also be an intentional setup to make your life a little bit easier. And then if the power does go out, it switches to UPS in 15 milliseconds. So you're not going to lose any documents that you're working on. Your laptop's not going to shut off or risk any damage to it with a surge of electricity. I've used this during a storm. I've powered my router, my laptop, and even my air fryer, and that peace of mind is huge. It also charges fast, 0 to 80% in about 70 minutes with dual charging, and you can plug it into the wall, solar panels, or your car. So this battery is not just sitting here. It's having some very intentional uses as my backup system, as a power station hub. It also powers my kitchen island, so I'm using it for so many things in my house. So make sure you click that link in my description box to get your very own Bluetti Elite 400, and make sure you use my coupon code STORY6OFF to get 6% off of your next order. And thank you so much, Bluetti, for sponsoring this video. Oh my goodness, it smells so good. This whole house smells amazing. I just want to have like one piece so I can taste it. I'm gonna let the others cool off before I actually put them in the freezer. Oh my gosh, look at that. It is so good with that croissant in it. Oh my gosh. The croissant berries are just amazing. It gives it like a little bit of a nuttier flavor. Slowing down, it hasn't come naturally to me. Even after I left corporate life, the mindset didn't just disappear overnight. And it's taken years, like literal years, to soften that voice. I've changed small things over time. I shut down at a reasonable hour now. I make dinner, I walk Georgie, I play with her, I knit, I let my brain unwind. But there was a time when I would have edited until midnight or later just to feel ahead. And I can still do that if I need to, but I don't want to live there anymore. I'd rather inch forward. Slow, steady progress feels better in my body. Sprinting does not. It tightens my chest, it makes my thoughts race, and it brings back that old anxiety. And yes, sometimes I understand that you just have to do what you have to do. I've been there. About 4 weeks ago, I worked until 2 in the morning to get a video finished. It was exhausting, and I felt it the next day. It reminded me why I didn't want that to be my default anymore. Life happens, there are seasons that require more, but I don't build my life around that pace now. And I sometimes wish that I had understood this much sooner. Put a little avocado on top of it. It's so yummy. Very hot. I left corporate at 47 years old, and I'd already been traveling full-time in my RV for about a year by then. My health was declining and my anxiety was incredibly high, and I knew deep down there had to be more to life than just pushing harder, one Zoom meeting after another all day long. I just couldn't do it anymore. I had watched too many people reach retirement with big dreams only to get sick or to die before they ever really lived the life they were working toward. People younger than me, people older than me, just gone. And I didn't want that to be my story. So I took a calculated risk. I saved my money and left the only world I knew to pursue something different. Well, I'm making progress on my sock. This part, the leg part, is almost done. It has to measure, I think, 6.5 inches. I can start on the heel. So this is my first time making socks, so we'll see how that goes. I'm loving the process so far. And by the way, some people have asked me what style of knitting I'm doing. This is the Norwegian style. So I used to do English. That's how I first started, but it was a lot of wrist movements and it just felt like it was taking a lot longer. And I know that there was like simpler methods out there to do it. So I found this channel called Carlos and Arnie, They're Norwegian and they teach the Norwegian method, which is a lot less movement. I thought that I would build a consulting business, which I did for a couple of years, and then this accidental YouTube thing started to take off. And it felt different. It felt creative and free, like I could build a life that had room for my health and my hobbies, for my love of travel, and also some rest. But even after changing my environment, the old wiring still had not disappeared. I also know I probably couldn't have learned this any faster than I did. Some lessons, unfortunately, only make sense once you've lived long enough to feel their cost. And unlearning something that was praised in you for years, that takes time to release. Today is pajama day. Oh, I'm so excited. I love just a good pajama day. Good morning. I'm so tired and I have to go outside. This is one of those days where I wish that I really had a backyard to just open the door and let her out. I think the hardest part of doing less isn't the physical part. It's what happens in my head. For instance, I'll be sitting on the couch with my coffee and suddenly I'm thinking about my inbox, or I'm reading and something in the book sparks a topic I might want to put in a video. So I grab my phone to write it down. And then that turns into doom scrolling. And then I'm watching whatever clip a friend sent me on Instagram. And then I'll start thinking about how I could be organizing my messy office that still isn't fully set up for the move. And none of these things are really urgent at all, but it's hard to sit still when I know there are things that I could be doing. There's this low-level tension that shows up, like I might forget something important or that I'm falling behind. And I won't pretend it's insanely peaceful. It can be uncomfortable, but if I let it pass, if I don't follow it, it settles. I notice that I'm not rushing as much anymore. One thing that's really helped with that, though, is removing some of the actual noise that's going on. The only thing that makes a sound on my phone now is the ringer if someone calls. There's no chimes from messages, no little banner notifications popping up all the time, none of those little red dots waiting for me. I kept reaching for my phone out of habit, like I was expecting something new to be there. Okay, we have, oh my gosh, this is such a lovely meal. I'm so glad to have my toast again. It feels so good to have it with, my eggs and kind of like what I would call my normal breakfast instead of having oatmeal every day. Oatmeal was my fiber, where this is my fiber in this meal. Scrambled eggs, tomato, spinach, red onion, raw sauerkraut for some amazing gut health, and blueberries, pecans. I love eggs with tomatoes and onion. So yummy. And I love this raw sauerkraut. I didn't like sauerkraut as a kid. I think it was just because it was so cooked, where this isn't. I can't even watch a show sometimes without picking up my phone. Just this constant need to check, to scroll to see what's happening. I don't love admitting that, but it's true. And it's been harder to unwind than I thought it would be. But after a while, I noticed something different. I wasn't multitasking all the time. And speaking of multitasking, that was something I used to be very proud of. In interviews, when they asked about my strengths, I would say confidently, I'm a great multitasker. Something to that effect anyways. Like it proved I was capable and productive and efficient on top of everything else. But sitting there on the couch, just watching one show without reaching for my phone, I realized I didn't want to juggle a zillion things anymore. Multitasking wasn't focus. It was constant switching and constant distraction. I love my first sip of that coffee. It's so yummy. So I've been drinking decaf coffee because of my kidney issue that I was having. I'm very sensitive to caffeine for some reason now, which is really weird. I was just sitting there thinking to myself, I still love the decaf. I mean, I don't get that kick that you get from caffeine, but I still love the taste of it. So I don't know, it's still very pleasurable for me, and I don't feel like I'm missing out by having decaf. I don't know. If any of you guys have ever dealt with kidney stones, were you sensitive to caffeine afterwards? I originally thought it might have been my fresh milled flour. Thank God it's not. My chai latte is not decaf, but it's minimal. And from what I understand, the different spices and stuff in there gives it a slow burn rather than the fast burn from the regular caffeinated coffee, which I guess is the difference because it's not affecting me. So anyways, I'm still enjoying it. I didn't really understand the cost of that pace to constantly be achieving for a long time. I was still functioning and still working and still showing up, but I was tired in a way that sleep didn't fix. I was short-tempered, less patient, and easily overwhelmed by small things. And the anxiety was subtle. It lived in my whole body. My brain felt crowded, and the hardest part is, it had been happening for so long, it just felt normal until it didn't. And eventually, the burnout came. For me, the burnout looked like losing the desire to create. I lost the spark to make videos. I questioned everything about my business. I stopped traveling full-time, the thing that I loved, and I rented an apartment. My dog, Lily, also died during that season, which made everything much heavier. And my body started reacting too. I had sprained muscles, constant doctor visits, high blood pressure, pre-diabetic numbers. I felt like I was unraveling, and this was in my own business. That's what really surprised me. I had left corporate. I thought I had changed my life, but I hadn't changed the pace in my head. You don't realize how tense you are until you finally stop long enough to notice it. And that's the part that still scares me a little bit, how easy it is to live in that state for years and just call it being busy. So this is the first time I've ever done this before. I'm sure I'm making all kinds of mistakes, so feel free to point them out if I am, but I've only looked at YouTube videos and looked at comments from people on here for tips on how to do this. So hopefully I've got it right and I'm not gonna mess this whole thing up. So it's supposed to be 75 inches long. Okay, here it is. This was the hard part, was pinning all of these little things for the bind off. I feel like this is pulling a little bit too much out. Let's pull this one out just a bit. It's too curved there. Oh, this is a fun little process. We have our Mediterranean turkey, lentil, kale soup with some avocado. It's nice to just heat it up. I'm one of those gals that's like, cook once, eat a zillion times, which is why I like to have leftovers in the freezer, so it's nice and still fresh, and you just have to heat it up. We were supposed to have snow, but I don't think we're getting any. Kind of wish we were, it'd be fun. Just a little bit. I love this with the avocado. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's hailing now. Little ice pellets. I guess it's getting cold enough to snow, but just not yet. So what I was saying was I like to put avocado in my soups. Gives you some good fat, and I just love avocado. Yes, we're trying this again. Hopefully this time I can remember how to do this. At least that stayed. Here we have it, my little cake. So simple using that. I'm starting to understand even more that not every day needs to prove anything. Not every weekend needs to turn into progress. Some days can just be quiet. Making soup and letting it simmer, taking a walk without my headphones, just hearing the gravel under my shoes and experiencing the environment, sitting with my dog and not checking my phone. It feels settled and kind to myself. I don't think I could have understood this kind of rest earlier in my life. Back then, rest always came after something, after the list was shorter, after I had earned it. And even then, it wasn't really rest. It was collapsing into bed, exhausted, and calling that recovery. Now, that feels different. It feels like something I choose, not because I've done enough, but because I want to take care of myself. I don't want to live at that pace anymore, and slowing down is a big part of that. I'm not very hungry. Still kind of full from that Mediterranean stew. So I'm just gonna have yogurt and granola and blueberries, which is what I do sometimes in the evening. I generally don't like to have like big meals in the evening. Something small, like sometimes I'll have fish or vegetables. We have this, and if I'm hungry, I'll have a slice of my bread, which I probably will because it's so yummy. Oh, but look, I wanted to show you. I've made so much progress. This is the top part of it. And then I just started doing the heel. So I'm on the gut. This is the gusset part, and I'm actually doing the gusset decrease is what it's called. So the heel is going to go like this. You can see the little poochy thing there. And then I'll start working on the foot here. So I've already changed over to this color, but I did end up using that gray, which is what you saw me spinning earlier. It's a process. My eyes are hurting. I also wanted to say we crossed over to 100,000 subscribers. I know many of you have already seen it. So I'm just so thrilled. So thank you everybody who has been here from the very beginning and who's jumped on board along the way. It's been a long ride. I started this channel in 2017. Can you believe it? 2017. 462 videos later, I'm at 100,000 subscribers. I know I'm doing the work and putting the videos out there, but you guys are the ones watching them. And if you weren't interested in my videos, well, I wouldn't be here. So thank you everybody for that. It's been quite amazing and such a huge milestone to hit. Now I get the silver play button from YouTube, and I'm just waiting for them to contact me. They have to like just evaluate your account, and then they'll send you a notice to let you know that you can go ahead and put in your information and stuff to have it sent to you. I'll definitely show it to you guys whenever I get it, because I mean, we're all in this together and you guys have helped me so much. Thank you so much everybody for just being here and having the community that we have. It's truly a blessing. It really is. So thank you. You know what really feels surreal about crossing 100,000 subscribers this week? It's that my life still looks like this, right here in my pajamas, bread on the counter, soup in the freezer, a quiet house, and Georgie curled up next to me. And I don't feel this urge to turn it into something bigger. I mean, I did celebrate. I called a few friends and we celebrated that way. I even thought at one point about doing something big for this video, some silver balloons that spelled out 100,000, a whole production. But when I pictured it, it didn't feel right in my body. It felt more performative than grounding. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love a good celebration, I really do. But this felt more fitting for right now, in my house with my dog, letting the milestone land with a pajama day and celebrating with 2 days of doing nothing. And maybe this is my version of Nixon, and somehow that feels like enough.